Hi and hello. Let's take a topic of enterprise data center transformation functions, especially when the application migration happens. What should you consider from the network architectural point of view? Let's discuss about that today. First, let me clarify what is data center transformation. It is basically a process to improve the current data center capabilities and performance for benefiting the business by solving some of the existing issues and improving some of the features and capabilities, right? Not too complex. DC transformation is a huge topic, and this essentially covers several technology domains, like compute, storage, backup, network, security, monitoring tools, and other infrastructure services and stuff like that. When we plan a, when we plan for a DC transformation, ideally all of those elements in an overall DC system goes through transformation, such as a classical network element can be changed into SDN based architecture. Why would you do that? Obviously, that solves some of the legacy problems in the current network setup, which brings you network overlay features and automation features, which will obviously add value to the application and in turn business, of course. So, like this, you choose to transform the other technology blocks as well in the DC. It usually happens in such a way that there are existing data centers hosting the application for a customer, and at some point, for several reasons, there will be a demand for the business to transform their existing landscape. So, those reasons like cost effectiveness, when any organization starts, they'll have application hosted locally in a distributed manner, or like using several colo providers or local data rooms, so using different tools and separate operational teams and so on and so forth. Hence, the maintenance becomes more expensive and less efficient. And then operational simplicity and efficiency. So this is for the same reasons discussed before, which brings complexity in creating a consistent SLA for the application across entire organization. Like you may get a 0 RPO and 10 minutes RTO for an application running in a specific DC in a region, but this may not be possible in all the DCs in the other regions due to their existing design constraints. And of course, better performance due to legacy hardware and end of life devices in the existing DC can severely limit the performance and maintenance of the devices. Then, the better availability or better SLAs, the same reason as legacy hardware and the existing design constraints may impact the SLAs. So, introducing a new architecture can address the critical SLA requirements for the application and faster go to market requirements. By introducing software defined data centers, the SDDC sort of design or cloud model can bring such features and give the business the advantage of quickly bringing the application into production. So there could be several other rationale behind a DC transformation, and what we covered here is just in high level to give you an understanding. So what we do is we usually build a new DCs satisfying those requirements and then move the applications from existing data centers into the new data centers. That's what called as migration. And usually it starts with gathering the data and creating an understanding around the infrastructure and application. Then a migration architect or a solution architect creates a migration strategy, and he or she would develop a solution or migration design documents around it, and an event planning, which is nothing but a project plan for the migration. Then a network architect would develop a migration network architecture. So all these activities usually will go hand in hand. And then finally the actual migration event happens. Let's focus where our interest is, which is the network part of it. There are some important considerations for creating a network architecture for migration requirements. You basically need some level of understanding about the current network architecture in the source data center and how is it set up in the target data center. Like, is it a similar architecture or is it totally different from source? Assess the impact for the application and create a network solution accordingly. Then how are the application hosted in source, like virtual workloads or physical workloads? And what is the solution for migrating these application workloads? Usually the migration solution document should cover all these details. And what sort of tools are they going to use? Again, migration solution should cover this. And how much of data transfer are they planning in a time period? Usually migration will happen for a longer duration in large DC transformation scenarios. That means migration will be managed as multiple events or waves. For an example, certain number of dependent application workloads will be grouped into a single event on a per week basis for migration. In such scenarios, there will be an approximate estimation of how much of data need to be transferred during each window. Basically, we use this data to assess the migration link capacity requirements. So we will use all of this information to derive an optimal network migration architecture. What I'm showing here is not the conclusive list or doesn't go in the same order all the time. In my experience, usually transformation and migration projects are unique in the requirements and constraints. Hence, solution will also be different in case-to-case basis. But when you get the correct understanding from this session, you can use this appropriately for your use case. Ideally, any network migration design should consider all these points. A link to connect both the source and target data centers for the data to be moved. So we call it as a migration link. The network architecture decision includes whether to use an existing link or to procure a new link just for this purpose. And of course, sizing the migration link, that we need to do it based on the volume of data which needs to be moved across. And the latency introduced over the link will also influence several design decisions in the overall migration solution. And the latency, and about the latency, it is a very critical part of the network. It is a law of physics. The longer the distance between the data centers, the higher the latency. This impacts the amount of data which can be copied even in high bandwidth links. It impacts the layer to stretch solutions as well, which we will discuss next. So application team may insist, usually most of the times they insist, to retain the same IP address in the target after the migration. So this adds lots of complexity in the network and security migration design. This alone is a huge topic and we will discuss this separately. If same IP needs to be retained for the migrated application in the target, we may need to go with layer to stretch solutions across DCs. That would provision the capability to extend the same VLAN from source till target and enables the server to carry the same address. If this is a migration solution, network architect should have a plan for network cutover as well. That is moving your default gateway from source to target. So as I said, this is a huge topic and this needs a separate session to go through all the possibilities and all the complexities involved in it. And then the firewall considerations. Another crucial part of the migration, depending on how you move the application to target, whether batch by batch or one shot of all servers like a big bang, or with a layer to stretch, move VLAN by VLAN, depending on each use case, traffic flow for migrated servers should be clearly assessed in target and respective firewall should be configured with the right set of policies to allow the new traffic. So there are times where firewalls in source and target will have to go through changes in policies after each migration. So again, this depends on the overall solution and the overall migration strategy as such. But this needs thorough assessment and consideration. As I just mentioned before, depending on the migration solution, how we move the servers to target, the respective external connectivity to be properly planned and enabled. This depends on the existing connectivity requirements. Mostly would include WAN, internet, and any other VPN sort of connectivities. And then the migrated application will have several dependencies in the existing infrastructure like DNS, NTP services, or monitoring tools, backup tools, and many others. All this network connectivity need to be carefully understood and considered in the target network as well. So this is it. What I mentioned all along is just the tip of the iceberg in the transformation journey, but hopefully you would have gained some basic knowledge and understanding. So keep thinking like an architect, and good luck, and thank you for watching this.